Ain't no way Democrats let this happen again. They need to walk this heifer out in handcuffs. Ma'am, breathe in this walkie-talkie. This heifer is blasted, throwed off, dark and the clear. Yeah, she mixed the dark and the clear. Ain't no way.
Their obligation, but also their employees, their customers, the community they lived in. So about 30 times. Stakeholder capitalism. Now we've moved to shareholder capitalism, where the CEO of the company is making like 300 or 400 times what their workers are making. It would take some of our workers a lifetime to make what the...
What? Did y'all see that? We go back. What?
To make a lifetime to make what the CEO makes in 1 year. So we have important work to do about fairness and all the rest of that. How could that be okay? And even CEOs have complained about that and said that's not what capitalism is supposed to be about. 300, 400 times? And it would take, well, again, a person's whole future. But if you go back, it would take from like well before the revolution for them to have to work all that time to make what the boss makes. So this is unfair, it's unjust, it's undemocratic, it's wrong, it's shameful, and it must be changed. And we are going to, that's our fight, to cancel the cuts. But with a reason, and also listening to how you see what the priorities should be for the future. I'll just again close by saying, and I mean it this time.
This heifer drunk. This heifer is throwed. This heifer is blasted. They need to put this heifer in handcuffs. Ma'am, please breathe in this walkie-talkie. Democrats, y'all dead wrong. Sending this drunk heifer out there again. Y'all dead wrong. And she should have been walked out in handcuffs. She should have been investigated long time ago. In there trading away. I tell you.
I'm from Baltimore. When we're coming here, I felt as though I was going back home to Baltimore. Any Marylanders here? Any Californians here? So the national anthem was written in Baltimore. And I'm very proud of it.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Do you have any second thoughts? Any second thoughts about what happened last summer or with
I don't have any second thoughts, but I do have a second thought about the Republicans. If they want to measure mental acuity or sanity, they ought to look to their own president, because the president of the United States, who was asked at one...
This heifer is pissed drunk. Pissed drunk. Clear and the dark.
One question and answers by saying President Obama is guilty of treason. He is not of sane mind. But no, I have no second thoughts. I think that he was a great president. He accomplished remarkable things in a 2-year period where we had the majority. He had accomplishments that...
Did she just say Biden was a great president? They need to walk this heifer out. Walk this heifer out in handcuffs. Did she just say the Otto Penn was a great president?
Were seen in the same light as LBJ and Franklin Roosevelt. He didn't have as long a tenure as they did, but he had the quality of legislation, make a difference in people's lives. It's unfortunate that it went down this path, but I think that history will treat him well, because he did great things for our country. A super patriot, loved America, honored our Constitution. A big contrast.
What? Yep, it just gets worse and worse and worse for Democrats. Nothing new.
I want you to look at this week. The left had their own youth event, and it involved pandas, and it felt really sad. Watch.
My name is Jess. I go by she, her, they, them pronouns, y'all.
Right now we're in 2025, and obviously we know we're on the brink of climate catastrophe.
Our diversity is our strength.
What the fuck is up? Let's go! I can't see anything out of this mask. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
So do you own a panda suit, Charlie?
Well, I was thinking this morning I should have wore the panda hat.
Yeah.
And it would have.
That actually would have been funny.
I think we should have come out with kind of the,
All
the
of us.
panda suit. You know, at the next Turning Point USA event, I'm just going to come out with the panda hat.
What's happening? Why is this like this?
I mean, this is the college campus culture on full display. Pronouns, can't be offended. I don't really quite understand the panda hat. I want to know who that guy is. Yeah. It might have been. So,
you know, hanging around your events and one of the things that you quickly realize is that young people have like these amazingly attuned antenna for authenticity.
Yes.
Yes.
And you look at this and there's nothing authentic about it. And you go to one of your events and it's the most authentic thing there is.
Well, and also, you look at all the B-roll there from the Democrat event. Where's the patriotism? Where's the American flag? Where's the Americana?
What's it about?
I mean, again, you got David Hogg there, you know, the American symbol of masculinity, giving some speech about how they're losing young men. It's fine, you know, more power to them. I want them to keep on doing this. By the way, if you look at the picture, there was like 300 people. I mean, one of our breakout sessions was that size just a couple weeks ago. But it goes to show Democrats are losing young people in major numbers.
You bring up such a great point about patriotism. I remember touring a school recently, not recently, but a few years ago, trying to find the right school for my kid. And I went to a public school, and they had this tiny American flag in front of the principal's office. And then they had this giant LGBTQ rainbow flag. And I thought, you know, forget the politics behind gay, straight, whatever. You can't unite people around that flag. You can unite people around the American flag, which is, I think, what you've done. It's not just young people that they're losing. The entire party seems to be having an identity crisis. Here are some poll numbers that I think you'll find interesting, Charlie. Here's the opinion of the Democrat Party now versus in 2019. 10-point.
So they're underwater
favorability.
Now.
Told y'all. And then they released the poll saying 19%. People are done with the Democrat Party, man. And then y'all keep sending drunk Nancy Pelosi out there and Chuck Schumer out there parading around. Hakeem Scum Jeffries. They call him Dollar Store Obama. And I'm pissed off that they say that, because we need to really be grateful and appreciate our dollar stores. The dollar store is a great place. You know, I go to the dollar store almost every other day. I love it. The one by my house, I tell you, the Dollar General by my house is a lifesaver. You know, we got to stop calling him Dollar Store Obama. You know, he's worse than that. Democrats, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And y'all just keep digging the hole even deeper. The transmission is shot. Motor is shot. And y'all don't want help. And y'all send everybody out there. The crooks, the criminals, people are drunk as hell. I mean, man. Y'all can't tell nobody what a woman is still. What a man is. Everybody's still confused. You know. Y'all burning the American flag, want to hold up your flag, want to hold up the rainbow flag and stuff. People are not going for it, man. Y'all done pushed all this woke crap on everybody. You know, common sense is back. Let people live their life how they want to live it. But you don't got to push all this onto everybody. Simple. And this is why it gets worse. And this is why y'all running everybody out the party. Everybody just running fast as hell out the door. Yeah. And then they had Nancy Pelosi out there. She drunk as hell. I tell you, they ought to put that heifer in handcuffs.
Underwater.
By 15 points. Whereas And of course, they're at a 35-year low in terms of popularity, and they've completely lost their way. They're leaderless. And as you point out, they're not even gathered around any particular issues.
The only issue that they are gathered around, and this is why President Trump is in charge of the policy agenda of the Democrat Party, is just the opposite of what Trump has done. So, I mean, their entire policy agendas is we're going to be against everything that this administration is doing, regardless of how popular it is. I mean, no tax on tips, which I know that we're going to be discussing and covering, no tax on overtime. Not only that, but the largest middle-class tax cut in history, border funding. And so the Democrat Party is at a record unfavorable rating, largely because they have become a party of liberal abstractions and coastal elite ideologies where President Donald Trump is communicating to the muscular class and the everyday American.
So let's talk about men in particular. You saw David Hogg there, which, you know, love him or hate him, he has been trying to raise the flag here for the Democrat Party, saying, hey, we're losing men. It's a bad deal for us. So here is a brand new poll that's revealing that Gen Z men, of course, have been trending right. We've been seeing this for a while.
Like I told y'all.
Towards religion and more traditionalism, all kinds of stuff. Look at what do these numbers tell you, Charlie?
Well, this tells me that there's finally a pushback and a rebellion against everything that has happened culturally the last 5 years. I mean, you think of, you know, we had the lockdowns, but the other part of the kind of COVID mess was all the wokeism that was just force-fed to our nation's youth. You could see a big split amongst Generation Z, and I think this is a very important point. It's Gen Z that was during their formative years, during the lockdowns and not during the lockdowns. And Rachel, I know you can agree with this. The young men especially that were locked down, there's nothing less masculine than saying you have to sit at home all day and not be able to leave your house and you have to just stare at a screen. They started searching for other voices like Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn or our podcast. And they said, no, I don't want to just sit around all day. I want to do something.
It wasn't just the lockdown. I had a son who was in his freshman year during right when the COVID hit. So, like, he missed his, you know, the graduation was weird, right? Yeah. It was outdoors and everyone was masked outdoors. It was crazy. And then they didn't have a prom. And then he gets to school and it's at UW-Madison and they're like, you know, being narked on by all these people. She wasn't wearing a mask and he was getting reported on for, you know, standing too close to people. And like, it was just like so, it was just so authoritarian. It wasn't just like the feds. It was like they sort of also got, it was very communist. Like everyone's telling on each other and reporting each other.
And I actually just wrote about this for FoxNews.com. It's out actually just a couple minutes ago. It says this: Republicans must seize the Gen Z moment or risk losing an entire generation. This really is a moment where Gen Z is moving so dramatically in this direction that has not yet been made permanent yet. And I want to make sure that this is clear, is that this movement is so far a temporary one. But if we can make this permanent, the Democrat Party will be deprived of now their decades-old base.
How do you make it permanent?
Well, we have to deliver for them economically. You know, I've been talking about this a lot over the last year and a half, which is President Donald Trump inherited a disordered economy for young Americans from whether it be home ownership or how expensive things are. And so right now we need to build more homes. We, of course, need to fulfill the immigration agenda.
Can you explain what that means? Because that's also about private equity firms buying up homes instead of them being available. 1
out of 4 of all home purchases in the last year were out of these firms like BlackRock that come in, and they are actually bidding out first-time home buyers and younger Americans that want to be able to have their slice of the American dream.
And and young people know about this.
They know about it and they talk about it. In fact, when I do my campus tours, time after time they say, Charlie, when are we going to stop BlackRock from being able to come in and purchase homes in our communities? You know, I'm from Arizona. I think it's wrong that a first-time home buyer in Chandler or Mesa or Gilbert that's just scrapping together enough money that they can has to compete against a $10 trillion private equity fund. And so I think these are some prudent decisions that we can make. We need to increase the supply. President Trump is exactly right about lowering interest rates. That's going to unleash a lot of capital and have a higher incentive to build homes.
So the silver lining to it, of course, is that these young people do not trust the government.